discuss how they feel in that new role. Parents in Italy are especially up in arms over the school district's attempt to conceal the program and its contents from them. The Italian father of one of the children, Amedeo Rossetti, said that in early February he attended a PTA meeting where the program for the second semester was presented. When Mr. Rossetti posed specific questions on issues of gender, school administrators, all perverts by the way, categorically denied the presence of gender-based activities in the school. The foxes are inside the hen house. They're posing as humanitarians. They're posing as liberals. They're posing as kind. They're not. They're predators. One of the goals of the protesters is the enforcement of European Art .26, whatever that is, regarding informed consent, whereby parents can ask the school to be informed before their children are introduced to courses with things like those regarding so-called gender theory, which, by the way, is a construct. Gender theory is a creation of the perverts in order to make the rest of us be frightened of them. That's my opinion. There is no such thing as gender theory. Either you're born a male or you're born a female. It doesn't matter how you act. You are born as a male or you're born as a female. Yes, I understand there's a small percentile biologically of people who are not male nor female. But by and large, we know this is a hogwash in order to confuse you. You want to hear more of what's going on in Italy? The land of the rising sun? Parents are also protesting a sex ed program for kindergarten students intended to highlight the similarities and differences between boys' and girls' bodies. The program involves one child lying down and the others placing their hand first on the child's heart to feel how it beats, and then on the diaphragm to feel it rise and fall. The text reads that quite obviously in the genital area, children can see that they're made differently from one another. Though the text does not specifically state that the children are to touch each other in the genital area, parents are complaining that it is understood that they should touch each other's genitals. Mr. Rossetti says that the upcoming demonstration in the Italian capital is absolutely essential, since it is up to us as parents to defend our right to oversee the education of our children. The spokesman for the protest, Professor Massimo Gandolfini, said that Saturday's demonstration was organized, quote, to protect our children from the propaganda of gender theories that are appearing surreptitiously in an ever more worrying way in schools. Wouldn't it be nice if we had some men in America who took time out from basketball, baseball, and barbecue to scream about the perverts who are trying to destroy their children's minds? 855-400-7282. We're also talking about Donald Trump, who has caused quite a stir by announcing his candidacy. And as I said to you, I certainly would support him if he runs as a Republican. I will not support him if he runs on a third party, because it will only undermine whoever on the Republican ticket runs. And we cannot afford to have Hillary Clinton as president. She is only fit to be the librarian at the Clinton Library, in my estimation. She could take tickets at the front of the library. She could arrange kickbacks for Bill, if that's what they do at the library. But she is not fit to run this country. We know what they did when they were here for 8 years, right? You forgot about all the scandals? I know it's like the good old days for the illegitimate. They thought those were great days. But they really weren't great days. The Clintons started the meltdown of American culture. Remember that. You see, his misbehaviors in the White House were unto themselves rather minor misbehaviors from one point of view, because the wife looked the other way. She knew what he was. There was no surprise to her. But when you have a president so out of control that he can't control his urges, even in the White House, it tells you much more about him than you'd like to know. And that's what all the scandals were about. And she was an enabler. She enabled it to happen. So they are what they are, you know. There are many other topics. We have the meddlesome Pope, the Pope's mischief. As you know, the Pope is mixing religion with politics, which is a no-no in the United States. He has been hand-selected by the New World Order. He's the first non-European Pope in 1,200 years. The same people who gave us Obama gave us this Pope. The same people who gave us Obama and the Pope are giving the world a good beating. He is from an area where Marx's theory was used to rule over the people. The Pope is a danger to the world. Yes, I'll be very clear on that. He knows about as much about weather as well, let's put it to you this way. The only thing the Pope knows about meteorology is that when it rains, his highly paid aides in the Vatican take out umbrellas and open them for him. The man knows nothing about climate. And for a religious man to do this is incomprehensible. How the Catholic people can put up with this, I don't know. And by the way, if he hates capitalism so much and wealthy people so much, I think the Pope ought to begin with an example by selling off some of the great art in the Vatican. And I think this Pope, this deceiver, what do you think? Because someone wears a holy robe, they're holy? Are you people nuts? How many imams are terrorists? Oh, you're willing to go along with that, aren't you? Well, the Pope is a Marxist. I stand by those words. He is a wolf in Pope's clothing. He is an eco-wolf in Pope's clothing. He's a stealth Marxist in religious garb. What do you think? I have to get on my hands and knees for him? He's a man. He's a man, and I disagree with his big lie, and I resent mixing religion with politics in my nation. It's sickening. It's bad enough we had to put up with Obama mixing race with politics for all these years. Now we have to put up with mixing Catholicism with politics. It's disgusting. The world is melting down in front of our eyes because of men like this, the deceiver, the great deceiving Pope. And so we have to stand up to him. It's that simple. This is simple. But again, I would make an offer right now in order to help the world's poor and to help the Pope distribute some of the wealth of the Vatican. I, Michael Savage, hereby bid $1 million for any Michelangelo in the Vatican. That's an opening bid. I realize it may be worth more. Ha, ha, ha. I'll put up $1 million for any one of the Michelangelos in the Vatican. I'll even go a step further. I'll put up $5 million if they'll sell me the Sistine Chapel and transport it to San Francisco. I mean, I know it may be worth more, but think of all of the poor that could be fed with that $5 million, Mr. Pope. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is, and why don't you show the people you're not a stooge of the radical left? What a disgrace this world has become, that you would sit there idly and go in those pews and throw money into those pots. Pew on it. Pew on it. It stinks to high heaven. And I don't give a damn what he wears. I don't care what mumbo-jumbo he uses. It's disgusting to mix politics with religion like this in my country. Secondly, the man sounds like the false prophet in Revelation. He sounds just like the false prophet in Revelation. An ecumenical spiritual figure directing mankind to worship the Antichrist. The man is a false prophet. How could you buy this garbage? How in the world can you buy this? The world is cooling off. And the man is pushing this to attack capitalism? This is unbelievable to me. We're living in global tyranny right now. We are living in global tyranny where the big lie is told over and over again, and there's almost no one to stand up to the big liars. The man is a liar. The man is a criminal. The man has crossed the barrier between politics and religion. And I resent the Pope. I don't care how big his cross is. It doesn't matter to me. He's a Marxist through and through. I don't care how white his robes are. He doesn't belong in this nation lying about climate change. He has no right to do that. None whatsoever. And I don't know how any fair-minded Catholic cannot be as outraged as I am. Do you realize what Marxism he is espousing here? The Pope put out a 192-page encyclical on global warming. That is a complete lie and fraud. All it is the environmentalist movement and the Marxist movement combined. He lambasts the rich. He says the rich loot the world. He attacks bankers and climate skeptics for accelerating its decline. Well, let me tell you something, Popey. I am a climate skeptic, and I'm a trained scientist. You don't know you're behind from climate. I know more about climate than you do. You liar, you. He then goes on to the big lie, saying the world is facing widespread crop failure, economic ruin, mass migration, destruction of entire ecosystems. It's all rubbish. The most advanced weather station in the world has just reported that we are in a 10-year cooling cycle. How dare this fraudulent Pope, who to me is no better than Rachel Dolezal, not be challenged by every Catholic with a college education in the world. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I, Michael Savage, trust to buy my gold and silver from. Swiss America.
Nobody would be tougher on ISIS than Donald Trump. We won't be using a man like Secretary Kerry goes into a bicycle race at 72 years old and falls and breaks his leg. I won't be doing that. The American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again.
Well, let's hope so, and let's hope that Donald really runs and chooses a great running mate that we can really, sink our teeth into, so to speak, such as Dr. Ben Carson. That's a winning ticket. Because that Dr. Ben Carson is the antithesis to the president we have now. Ben Carson is genuine. He is not a construct. Ben Carson is a pediatric neurosurgeon, which is about as difficult as it gets in neurosurgery. Ask any neurosurgeons about pediatric neurosurgery. You cannot fake your way into pediatric neurosurgery. And although he is African American, he did not need affirmative action to become a pediatric neurosurgeon. He had the brains and the skill set to become a pediatric neurosurgeon. The opposite is true for Barack Obama, who has used race as a weapon to get where he is. And so I support the Donald Trump candidacy. I hope he runs, and I hope he chooses someone like Carson, and we'll wait and see. The other topic is, the one that won't go away is the fake black, this Rachel character who continues to lie about her race. She's a con woman, in my estimation, nothing more and nothing less. And thus far, I have not seen any members of the civil rights community, speak out against her activities. I haven't seen any of the pompous members of the Congressional Black Caucus who are just so offended by everything, not offended by her, apparently. Why has there been no march and demand for the truth about Rachel Dolezal? Which raises a bigger question, by the way, which is that if she can fake her race by claiming race is just a construct, well, if we take her on her word, as many of the leftists do, then we don't need these race-baiting organizations who are built only around race, right? Anyway, just a thought. The phone number here is 855-400-7282. We're also talking about the sexual madness in our schools. Italian families protesting this Saturday the forced cross-dressing of school children by deviants and perverts. When did the word deviant and pervert, when did the words deviant and pervert get dropped from the English language dictionary? Has anyone told me that they have read an official statement that there's no such word as the word deviant? There is no such word as the word pervert in the dictionary? Those words still exist. In fact, as I speak with you today on the Savage Nation radio program, I am rifling through my books. Here they are. And I'm going to get for you 2 books that I use on occasion. One is the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and the other is Roget's Thesaurus, which I've enjoyed since college days. And both of them have words in them. Now, maybe these are old editions. They could be old editions. They could be the old straight white male edition. I don't know. There may be a new edition that I'm not aware of. But let me go into the old straight white male Merriam-Webster Dictionary and look up the word pervert. And let us see if the word has any meaning. Pemmican, penology, filter. Oh, it takes a while for me to flip through the pages in the old way. I know I should be doing it on the internet, and it'd be faster, admittedly. But I want to use the old straight white male's dictionary just for now to see what this antique book has to say. And here it is. Perspective. I have to turn the page now. Pert. We're getting there. Pervade. Perverse. Here we go. Perverse. Turned away from what is right or good. Robert, that's the actual definition. Turned away from what is right or good. Perverse. Corrupt. Obstinate in opposing what is reasonable or accepted. Okay. Interesting. So these words do exist in the old straight white male Merriam-Webster Dictionary. I do not know if they're still permitted to be taught on university campuses where perverts have taken over the colleges and universities. I'm sure that they've rewritten the dictionaries because the dictionaries themselves may be found offensive.
Savage.